Digivel family, welcome back to the fourth episode of the Digivel Movie Show. Wherever you are watching it on YouTube or podcast, this is the show where I interview marketers, entrepreneurs, and amazing personalities like the one we have today, Rohan Chaubey. Rohan Chaubey is the most followed growth hacker in India, and this is the tag given to him by the Audience platform, which is a partner product of IBM and Twitter, as he is the most followed growth hacker on Twitter according to his number of followers and engagement. And that's amazing that he is having 78,000 followers. Am I right, Rohan?
Yeah, I have multiple accounts with the same name, Rohan Chaubey, and a total is about one lakh 50,000 something.
So that's a huge number. We're going to talk about that. And other than that, he is the author of the Growth Hacking book, which is a collaboration of around 35 authors, and Rohan is the lead author. And those 35 authors are from nine different countries, and that book is the best-selling book in nine different countries already. So, and the second edition is gonna come in this year. So you have to wait for that, and we will talk about that too. So let's talk Rohan. Rohan, can you add something more to this introduction? Something more to
Sure, I think you covered everything. I'm the best-selling author of the Growth Hacking book. We are launching the second edition of the book this year. And to add to it, I call myself a growth hacker. I help companies and startup get their first 100,000, 10,000, and 1 lakh users. And through, of course, the frameworks that we have for growth. And I coined the term growth set. So a lot of people ask me, how do you become a growth hacker? And the simple answer to that is you work on your growth set. And the concept is extensively shared and explained in my book.
okay, that's great. Like I heard you shared this thing in one of your podcasts that this book is kind of a recipe book. Like
Mhm.
you have given the step by step process that how like all the 35 authors they have given their step by step process that how the things work for them and how this can work for others. So what was the idea behind this book? How this came in your mind to put it in step by step and to help everybody out there?
So in the first edition, yes, it was more of the chapters, but in the second edition, we I came up with this other format for the. So usually non-fiction books are full of chapters, even though they have actionable advice.
Okay.
However, we wanted to make it even more defined. So I came up with this format of the book when it will launch. Of course, everyone will get to know where in the format doesn't allow our authors to add any fluff or theory. It has to be very specific, step by step process of how what they did and what did they achieve, so that other people can also think in that direction. So and talking about having 35 people from 9 countries, this time we are going to have people from more than 20 countries. A lot of people told me that why would you have your own competitors in your own book? It's you're also promoting them, which I think the answer to that is no one is really our competitors, right? Our planet has 7 billion people, and not 7 billion people are digital marketers or growth hackers. So
Exactly.
there is a very small section of people that I'm promoting, and there is a large scope for the rest of the world to learn from us. So I think I totally believe in collaboration, and that's the reason I'm getting all these stars of the industry to be in the same book.
That's great. That actually increased my excitement to read the book more. So I will definitely read that book, and people, you also buy that book as soon as it comes. So Rohan, you have built your personal brand very effectively. I must say that. So
Thank you.
I'm also in this field of building the personal brand. So what would you suggest to each and every person who is about to build their personal brand? How can they build it?
I think I have a very defined 5 step process of creating your or building your own personal brand.
Okay.
And these are the process is nothing but more of things that I suggest you should be doing to build your personal brand. The first is write a book, because like they say, the word authority is derived from the word author. So when you become an author, that's when you achieve ultimate authority, because a lot of people do will say and do a lot of things on social media, But then you and I know that it's easy to do it. That's why people post on social media. If you really have in-depth knowledge about something, write a book on it, write in-depth articles and research papers on it, show us the case studies, and that's how book positions you as an authority. So the first step is to totally write a book and become an author. Another good thing could be, if you're a best-selling author in either on Amazon or this year we are also aiming for USA Today bestseller. So if you're a best-selling author, it adds more to your credibility as an author.
Right.
Next would be to become a speaker. You can start with speaking at very small events or even small workshops, and then do it for free initially. And then as you see you're getting better, the more you do, the more better you will get at public speaking. So when you see you're getting better at it, so maybe, if you're getting called at different cities, make them cover your travel expenses and living cost. And then as you see your popularity is increasing and you are getting a lot of calls from various conferences and events, then you can start charging them, saying that, I have limited time on my calendar. So if you want me to come to your conference, you would have to pay X amount. So I think that's how you build your speaker portfolio. The next would be, so you have covered writing, you have covered speaking. Next would be building a social media followers. So for that, of course, I know we will go in depth in it, but just to share with you, social media, like a common question is, how do you grow on Instagram? How do you grow on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, or anywhere? So I was thinking, how do we boil down what exactly it takes to become popular on a particular social platform?
Yeah.
So I created a 4-step framework, and anyone who has religiously followed those 4-step framework have got results. And a lot of people, just to name a few, there is this very respectable futurist called Daniel Burrus. Wall Street Journal calls him the most in demand, the third most in demand speaker in the world. So people like him are following these frameworks that I've created, and they've seen exceptional results. So we'll walk through the framework in the next few minutes. And the fourth step would be to become a writer for media publications, so that you can break your industry news, talk about the latest trends. And the fifth stage would be to be newsworthy and instead of you writing about your industry, let people write about you. So I think these are my 5 steps to create a personal brand that everyone would remember.
So that was like amazing. So I am curious about one question. Like, how can you write for a media publication? Like, you have to approach them, show them some of your work or something like that. How can you do that?
Sure. So I'm sharing with you an easy way to do it. The easy way is that, you find the editor, you pitch the 3 titles that you most like and what you feel confident about writing it, and then show them that how you would distribute the article. A lot of people are pitching these editors all the titles that they want to write about, but no one really shares that this is what I'm going to do to distribute my piece and article so that it brings traffic to this particular publication. So when you share your distribution plan, they feel convinced that if having this person as a contributor or columnist on our publication will bring them traffic. So I think that's the easiest way to do it. If you want to make it a bit complex, but then this guarantees better results, is what you can do is you create, you can conduct a survey kind of stuff and get the first-hand data about your industry, or conduct a original research. So in 2018, I did a research on Twitter, and I found that only the top 1% of the entire Twitter was having more than 10K followers. So anyone having more than 10,000 followers on Twitter are the top 1% users of the Twitter, in terms of, how large the account is and how influential their accounts are. So when you go to these publications with these original case studies and research work, they are likely to publish you, and that's the easiest way to get published. I mean, the number of turndowns would be less when you're coming up with your own data and research. Even if you're pitching plainly with your own titles and expertise, that can also still get you approved to write for these publications. Just that you have to, it is very important for you to show them that you are the expert to write about this, and you're going to take efforts to distribute the article.
That was really very insightful, and these are actually the practical steps which one can follow and get the things. So it was amazing. So moving on to next one, you have grown so heavy on Twitter, like 1,50,000 followers on Twitter, and we have seen that people who are having even 10,000, 20,000 followers are getting just 20 likes or 40 likes or like 100 likes on Twitter. The engagement is so low sometimes, and but you are having engagement so good and the number of followers so good. So according to your framework also and according to your own experience also, how one can grow on platform like Twitter or any other social media platform? Best way.
I have a very easy framework which anyone can follow. So the first step in the framework is to identify what platform you want to grow on. See if the platform has potential for high growth. Choose that platform first. The second is perform key actions on these platforms. What I mean by key actions is the actions that send notifications to other users when you perform them. So let's say, for example, if you want to grow on Twitter, you would do perform key actions like likes or replying to tweets or following people, sending them a direct message. The same would apply on Instagram. You would like and engage with other people's posts. You would comment on them, make meaningful comments, of course.
Right.
If you want to find people similar in your niche, you can go to, let's say, if you're a marketer, you can search for hashtags like digital marketer, marketing, and find your tribe via this method. And then the third step would be to scale the number of actions you're performing. What I mean by that is, let's say, instead of doing just 10 and 20 comments every day, try to see if you can make it 50.
Okay.
And the third step would be to either automate it, do it yourself, or give it to your virtual assistant to do it if you do not have enough time. And when I say automate, I do not really mean that you have to automate the processes. What you can automate is, publishing the post. So let's say you can plan the entire Instagram feed in the first a week of every month, and then it just goes out automatically what you have scheduled. Same you can do with the tweets, your LinkedIn updates, or on every social platform. I'm not sure if there is a scheduling platform for TikTok, but if there is, or if someone creates it, it would be very cool. So now the fourth step is to analyze and see what actions give you the maximum returns. So let's say if you had to compare between two actions, that is commenting on your target audience's post versus following them. And if you see that follow is giving you more audience in return, you would want to double down on that action versus the comment actions. So this is the simplest framework that I can put out for everyone who is trying to grow on any social platform. And these are the fundamentals that cannot be changed. There is no other way to do it apart from either paid ads or organically through engaging with others. And a lot of people, especially people who are aspiring to be influencers, think that influencers do not really engage with other people
Right.
because they are influencers, but that is really wrong because social media is about engagement. If you're not reciprocating the engagement, that doesn't really make social, that removes the social from social media. So I think the best way to grow on any platform is through reciprocity in the initial days, and when things start picking up, you can still keep performing actions, and in the sense that you want to keep be engaged and connected to your followers and your tribe and community.
Amazing. Like as an audience, right now I'm interviewing you, but as a listener, as an audience, I always prefer the practical steps. Like I don't want, as a listener, I will never want a huge thing and get something out of it. Like I always want the practical step. Like these are the bullet points and I have to follow it. And that's what you are providing in this podcast. The bullet points
Thank
and
you.
nothing else. That's amazing. I really like this. Yeah. Um,
Thank you.
yeah. So, and according to your past experience, as you had a product, social media, and you started some many products and like many projects, and you are growing your personal brand. you had clients like Uber, UNESCO, Red Bull, and all those. So how you did that, and all those newbies, they are worried about one thing: how they can generate leads, how they can get clients for their agency or for their work as freelancing or anything. So what will be the way you will suggest to get the clients or lead generation?
I think the best thing that has worked for me for lead generation is creating products. And through products, you can sell complementary services. I talk about this in my book in the second last chapter of the book, that when you build products and have complementary services about it, then you can always, upsell your existing user base or clients. I have created so far three different software products. They have done extremely well in terms of acquiring leads or generating revenues or and being helpful to people. So when you build something that is valuable to people, there's nothing that can stop you from getting or acquiring users and customers. So think of a pain point in your niche and create a product around it, and that product should and then you should be able to sell a complementary service to that product. So let's say, for example, my product was about Twitter engagement. Using the platform that you mentioned, people could get engagement on their tweets on Twitter. A complementary service that we offered was Twitter growth in terms of followers. So now that you're getting engagement through the tool that we had, the next step would be to also grow your followers, and that was a service we were offering, and it was a complementary service to the product. So what I'm encouraging or suggesting here is that you create products and have complementary services, so that when you sell the products, you can upsell it to your clients that for all the complementary services you can give.
Kind of a premium model also.
Right. So product would be a way to get these people and generate leads, and service could be the actual revenue model. Of course, you can also monetize the product by having a freemium tier and then having a premium tier. So you also generate revenue from the product.
That's amazing. Like, I hope everyone got their answer about lead generation. So, I'm also curious about one thing, that it's good to be author, as you said that the word authority is derived from the word author. So, like, it's good to be an author, but it's quite hard to write a book of like 200 pages, 300 pages. So I guess there must be something like you have to start from small and go to that 200 pages. Like, one cannot write directly 200 pages of a book. So how would you suggest if
Right.
anyone wants to write that?
So there's no hard and fast rule that the book has to be 200 pages. I've seen books that are I mean, just 100 pages. There are on Amazon, if you see, there are very micro books, like really small books, but it doesn't, if the number of pages is determined by the content that you want to put in the book. So if you think that you can complete or finish your ebook in 5,000 words, even a paperback in 5,000 words, that's fine. There's no law enforcement on what should be the number of chapters in the book or what should be the number of pages. If you think that you can finish up in just 100 pages, 50 pages, even that is fine, right? There's no one that is going to stop you from publishing it.
The only thing which you want is value.
Yeah,
Either you
yeah.
provide it
So if you think that you can deliver your message in 50 pages or 100 pages, that is fine. As far as you are covering everything that you want to say in the book about the particular subject that you're writing about. I think any number of pages would do.
That's great. So you have an experience of around, I guess, 6 to 7 years in this field, and you started at 16, right?
I do not say that because I was not doing it professionally, right? So I was a blogger. I started at 16. And when you become a blogger, you learn SEO, you learn graphic designing, and all of the other social media stuff, right? So I say that I grew up on the internet. I started as a blogger and I've been working remotely for the last 3 years. So that is how I define it instead of saying that, I've been here for the decade.
Okay, so we can generally say that your hustle journey started at 16, and the thing you got that I have to do something
Yeah, yeah.
like that.
Yeah, and I didn't really know that all this is monetizable. It was just a hobby that I had. Blogging was a hobby for me, and it turned out to be a career choice.
Great. So, what was the real game changer for you, which proved to be the best in all these years?
Uh, so the realization that whatever I was doing was really helpful to people, and people were willing to pay for it. Not that my intention was ever to make money. I didn't even knew that all that I know about social media, writing, content writing, blogging, SEO, content marketing, all this was monetizable skills. I only got to know when a US based company reached out to me when I was a columnist at the Huffington Post.
Okay.
So that was, I think, the game changer for me, because that made me realize that the skills that I have are important skills that people need and want to learn from.
Amazing. So here we will go to a scenario and the imagination part that I have a time machine for you, and we both sit in that time machine and we go back all those years, and you meet your 16-year-old boy, that Rohan 16-year-old, and now as we all know that in all these years you have been through high, low, and all those phases. So you know some things work good for you, some things didn't work good for you. So now if you have one advice for Rohan, or you want to tell him the steps, so what will be the steps you would say that Rohan go like this? These are the steps, and 1, 2, 3, 4 you have to go like this. What would you suggest here?
I think the simplest advice I would give the 16-year-old Rohan would be to uh, learn from people who are better than you, teach people who are, just starting out and who need your help, and collaborate with people who you think that are, equal to you. I think that's the best way to navigate and grow in this digital space and ecosystem.
Great. And how do you define like writing a book? Like you wrote a book. So writing a book can be crucial. How much crucial it is in your personal brand journey? How crucial it is? How important?
Okay, so you're asking how
Like
what role
how?
did book
Yeah,
play in the
yeah,
personal brand?
yeah.
I think the book is what, like I shared with you, anyone can share anything on social media, right? Because that's the easiest thing that we can do. I'm not saying that it's not very credible to share on social media. It is, but if writing a book just shows the seriousness that you have actually done a lot of research, and you do know a lot about what you are writing. And of course, let's say if you were in school and writing an assignment or a project or a research paper, the amount of research that you would do to produce it, you will learn a lot in the process. The same is with writing the book. When you write a book, you learn about everything possible that you can to write on that subject. So essentially, you become that's I think writing the book is the easiest way to become the subject matter expert, if I may put it that way.
Yeah. To establish you as an expert in that thing. Like now people know you more as a growth hacker. You were already, but now more. So
Right.
that yeah, that's great, Rohan. All the answers you gave and all the insights you put, like in just few words, you gave all those things, and it actually blew my mind away. Because these are the things coming out of your mouth, and you have already practiced it, and you are
Thank you.
sharing this with all the audience. So
Thank you. I hope everyone who is watching this, listening to this, benefits from this in some way.
yeah, definitely, it was amazing, Rohan, having you on the show. Really, thanks for accepting the invitation and being here and sharing all
Thank
these
you.
enlightening insights.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Yeah. So people watching this, follow Rohan on Instagram. Rohan, can you share your Instagram handle?
Yeah, I think the best way to put it is to say go and Google search me. It shows me my knowledge panel, and then it shows my social media icons as well.
Yeah, I saw that. It happened recently that Google is
Yeah,
showing your knowledge panel and all the
yes,
information.
yes, yes. It got me very excited that how did this happen automatically? They are also picking up the social icons. So a lot of people say that you have to be on Wikipedia and all these authority sites to get that. But if you see, they are taking or fetching information from my own website.
Okay.
So, and my website is not even a multi-page site, it's just one page. And they are taking the information from there and having a link to my site. So it's quite interesting, and I think I should put out a question to all the SEO experts, maybe someday on social media, that who can explain me knowledge graph better.
So that's actually a good achievement mark, I would say, a benchmark for you and a good moment to celebrate. Even I have this as my WhatsApp status that Google me on 11 September 2024. As I have this target in 2024 to be on Google. So I think that's the thing
Is
which I
11
really want.
September your birthday or something?
No, actually, I decided this thing on 11 September 2019. So I took a 5 year period for me to achieve that.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think you will totally achieve it. I believe in you.
Thanks a lot for these kind words. So people follow Rohan, Google him, and follow wherever you want him. Follow this podcast, and if anything you want, he's the most humble guy I know on social media. He is the
Thank you.
best person to give you advice. If you want to ask anything, he's the best guy. And keep following, keep subscribing, and just watch out for the next episode. Thank you, Rohan, for
Bye.
being here.
Thank you.
Thanks.